Ravens fan. Everyone expected Derrick Henry to start slowing down, but he's been showing a level of play that leaves critics speechless. At 31 years old, he's still delivering elite performances, and the question remains, will he keep this pace up? Or is the end of the line near? His 2024 stats were impressive, but can he maintain this level in 2025? Stay tuned, because the bold prediction about Henry's future is going to surprise you. His impact on the Ravens could be even bigger than you think, and what's coming next could completely change how we view the running back. Go Ravens! When Derrick Henry joined the Ravens, many wondered if he could still play at a high level. After all, he was no longer young for a running back and had been carrying offenses on his own for years, but once on the field, he made it clear that he still had plenty left in the tank. With 1,921 yards and 16 rushing touchdowns, he was simply unstoppable. Every time the Ravens needed a key play on the ground, Henry was there, bulldozing defenders and securing important yardage. The chemistry with Lamar Jackson was perfect, leaving opposing defenses confused about whether to cover quarterbacks run or try to contain Henry. One of the main reasons for this success was how the Ravens used Henry in the red zone. Unlike other teams, where the quarterback sometimes calls their own play for a touchdown, Baltimore trusted Henry's physical power to finish drive. This resulted in insane numbers, especially for fantasy football. He finished the season as the fourth best running back in PPR leagues and second best in standard league, proving he can still be one of the most dominant players at his position, even with minimal involvement in the passing game. His impact on the ground made this barely matter. What's striking is that Henry didn't just maintain a high level, he even seemed more explosive than in past years. He carried the ball with impressive aggression and showed he's still one of the most feared running backs in the NFL. However, fans know that time waits for no one. At 31, the big question is how long he can keep this up. Running backs usually start to decline after 30, but Henry has defied expectations before. Now, the dynasty fantasy market is keeping a close eye on him. Those looking to win now might see Henry as a crucial piece, but those thinking long-term might be concerned about his value in the future. This leads to the ongoing debate over his worth in dynasty leagues and how analysts are evaluating his future. Derrick Henry has always been a big name in fantasy football, but over time, his value in dynasty leagues has become a true dilemma. Currently, he's ranked as RB18 in the dynasty market, which indicates that many people are concerned about how much longer he can play at a high level. He's behind names like Christian McCaffrey and rookie Quinton Judkins, but ahead of players like Chuba Hubbard and David Montgomery. This shows that he's still valued, but not as much as before. The question is simple. Is it better to bet on him now or try to trade him before his value drops? The big challenge for dynasty players is knowing when to sell a veteran. Henry is still putting up elite numbers, but the market could devalue him quickly if any sign of decline appears. So, if you own him, you have to decide whether to keep him for a shot at an immediate title or trade him while you can still get a good return. In a 2025 rookie draft, for example, he would be worth a late first-round pick, which isn't bad for a player over 30. But will this still be the case after another season? At the same time, Henry has been more productive for longer than most running back, which could justify holding on to him for another year. He plays a physical style that punishes defenses and doesn't rely as much on explosive speed, unlike other RBs who decline with age. If he replicates his 2024 numbers, his value could remain steady for a while, but any sign of decline could cause his price to drop quickly, as dynasty teams always prioritize youth and longevity at the position. This puts fantasy players in a dilemma. Trust that Henry can have another 1 or 2 dominant years, or trade him before it's too late. And to make that decision, it's important to understand what to expect from him in 2025 and how the Ravens plan to use him in the final year of his contract. The 2025 season will be crucial for Derrick Henry. He's still under contract with the Ravens, but beyond that, his future is uncertain. At 31, he's defying all predictions for running backs and continues to play at a high level, but time will eventually catch up with him. The good news is that the Ravens' offense remains one of the best in the NFL, meaning Henry will have plenty of opportunities to score. As long as Lamar Jackson is by his side, defenses will struggle to stop the ground game, which could lead to another productive season for Henry. The main concern is whether he can maintain his durability. Running backs who reach their 30s tend to struggle more with injuries and drop in production, but Henry has always had impressive durability. His physical style could allow him to remain dominant, but any signs of wear and tear could mean fewer carries and a reduced role in the backfield rotation. The Ravens know they can't rely on him forever and have younger players on the roster to take on some of the workload. If Henry stays healthy, he has all the potential to be one of the top running backs in the NFL again in 2025. The Ravens will likely continue to rely on him at the goal line, providing him plenty of opportunities for touchdowns. However, his involvement in the passing game will likely remain limited, as Baltimore has other running backs like Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell, who are more involved in passing situations. This shouldn't stop Henry from producing at a high level, but it might slightly cap his ceiling in PPR league. With all this in mind, the most likely scenario is that Henry remains a RB1 in fantasy in 2025, but with some uncertainties about his future. And that's exactly why understanding how the Ravens' backfield is structured will give a better idea of what to expect for this season. All right, we've made it past the halfway point of the video, but before we go any further, I notice you haven't hit the like button yet. It's really important for YouTube to keep recommending my content to you, so I can keep bringing you updates like this. Just hit that like button. It's free, and it really helps out. Thanks. Let's keep going. Even though Derrick Henry is the main force in the Ravens' ground game, he isn't alone in the backfield. The team has Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell, two younger running backs who will share opportunities with him. While Henry dominates carries on first and second down, Hill and Mitchell will likely continue to be used in passing play, reducing Henry's involvement in the air game. This was the case in 2024 and shouldn't change in 2025, making Henry even more reliant on volume running and touchdown. The big advantage for Henry is that the Ravens trust him to finish drives in the red zone. While some teams like to diversify their runners near the end zone, Baltimore has shown that Henry is the first choice when they need a short run to score. This means that, even without many receptions, he remains one of the most valuable running backs in fantasy. However, having other names in the backfield signals that the Ravens are thinking about the future and may begin to reduce his workload gradually. Keaton Mitchell, in particular, is a name to watch. He's an explosive running back, and if he fully recovers from his injury, he could get more opportunities in 2025. Still, Henry's experience and physicality make him the most reliable option for heavy carries, which is crucial in the Ravens' offensive scheme. But if Mitchell or Hill starts to gain more ground, Henry may see a slight decline in his production, especially if the team wants to preserve his body throughout the season. Even so, the Ravens' offense should still revolve around Henry in the running game for at least one more year. And this makes the big question for fantasy players whether to hold on to Henry or trade him before his value dropped. Here's the big decision for those owning Derrick Henry in Dynasty League. Is it worth holding on to him for a shot winning now? Or is it better to trade him before his value declines? For those building a team to win immediately, Henry is still one of the most reliable running backs in the NFL. He will have a huge role in the Ravens' offense, should score plenty of touchdowns, and could be one of the top fantasy RBs once again in 2025. If the goal is to win a title now, he's a piece that can make a difference. On the other hand, for those thinking about the future, Henry could be a ticking time bomb. Running backs over 30 rarely maintain a high level for long, and any sign of decline could cause his value to plummet. The dynasty trade market prioritizes youth, and the longer time passes, the less Henry will be worth. This means it might be smarter to trade him now for younger players or draft picks before his price drops drastically. Another factor to consider is the right time to trade him. During the season, if Henry is playing well, his value may rise, and teams in the playoff hunt may be willing to pay a premium for him. If the plan is to trade him, it could be worth waiting for the right moment when interest is at its peak. But this involves risk. If he experiences a dip in production or suffers an injury, his value could drop suddenly. In the end, it all depends on the team's strategy in Dynasty. Those who want to win now should make the most of Henry while he's still dominant. Those building for the future need to think about the right time to sell him. The only certainty is that 2025 could be the last year we see Henry playing at a high level, and that completely changes what to do with him in Dynasty League. Derrick Henry has shown that, even at 31, he remains one of the most dominant running backs in the NFL. However, the big question everyone is asking is, can he maintain this level of excellence in 2025? With the Ravens offense continuing to adjust his style of play, will Henry remain a key piece in the attack? Or is he nearing a drop-off in performance? What do you, Ravens fan, think of this situation? Will he be a monster again in 2025? Or will we start to see his decline? Comment below with what you expect from Henry next year. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest news about the future of the Ravens and our running back. Stay tuned for everything that's coming up.